evam drashtari drishyatvam aropitam abuddhibhi yatha nabasi meghaugo renurva parthivo nile evam drashtari drishyatvam aropitam abuddhibhi yatha nabasi meghaugo renurva parthivo nile evam drashtari drishyatvam aropitam abuddhibhi yatha nabasi meghaugo renurva parthivo nile evam drashtari drishyam aropitam abuddhibhi. बोलो
यथा नभसि मेघो रेणुर्वा पार्थिवो निले एवं दष्टरि दशरथम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः
यया नवसि मेधो रेणुर्वा पार्थिवो निले एवं दुष्टरि दुष्टत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः
You want to try? How you know? You learned Sanskrit or something?
Yeah, I know.
Huh?
Actually, I've joined online Bhagavad classes. So,
Oh. Clouds and yatha as it is. Nabasi in the sky. Meghaugha a mass of clouds. Renuhu dust. Va as well as. Parthivaha muddiness. Anile in the air. Evam thus. Drashtari to the seer. Drishtavyam for the purpose of seeing. Aropitam is implied. Abuddhivihi by the less intelligent persons. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conceptions on the spirit self. It is further confirmed that with our material eyes and senses we cannot see the Lord, who is all spirit. We cannot even detect the spiritual spark which exists within the material body of the living being. We look to the outward covering of the body or subtle mind of the living being, but we cannot see the spiritual spark within the body. So we have to accept the living being's presence by the presence of his gross body. Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with their present material eyes or with material senses are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called Virat Rupa. For instance, when a particular gentleman goes in his car, which can be seen very easily, we identify the car with the man within the car. When the president goes out in his particular car, we say, "This is the president." For the time being, we identify the car with the president. Similarly, less intelligent men who want to see God immediately, without necessary qualification, are shown first the gigantic material cosmos as the form of the Lord, although the Lord is within and without. The clouds in the sky and the blue of the sky are better appreciated in this connection. Although the bluish tint of the sky and the sky itself are different, we conceive of the color of the sky as blue, but that is general conception for the layman only. Next verse, Ataparam yad avyaktam avyudha gunabhimbramitam adrushta drushta vastuvat sajivo yat punarbhavaha. Beyond this gross conception of form is another subtle conception of form, which is without formal shape and is unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. The living being has his form beyond this subtlety, otherwise, he could not have repeated births. As the gross cosmic manifestation is conceived as the gigantic body of the Lord, so also there is the conception of his subtle form, which is simply realized without being seen, heard, or manifested. But in fact, all these gross or subtle conceptions of the body are in relation with the living beings. The living being has his spiritual form beyond this gross material or subtle psychic existence. The gross body and psychic functions cease to act as soon as the living being leaves the visible gross body. In fact, we say that the living being has gone away because he is unseen and unheard. Even when the gross body is not acting, when the living being is in sound sleep, we know that he is within the body by his breathing. So the living beings passing away from the body does not mean that there is no existence of the living soul. It is there, otherwise, how can he repeated his birth and again? The conclusion is that Lord is eternally existent in his transcendental form, which is neither gross nor subtle like that of the living being. His body is never to be compared to the gross and subtle bodies of the living being. All such conceptions of God's body are imaginary. The living being has his eternal spiritual form, which is conditioned only by his material contamination. Text number 33. Yatre me sada sadrupe pratisiddhe swasamvida avidyamatmanam krite ititad brahmadarshanam. Whenever a person experiences by self-realization that both the gross and subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self, at the time he sees himself as the Lord. The difference between self-realization and material illusion is to know that the temporary or illusory impositions of the material energy in the shape of gross and subtle bodies are superficial coverings of the self. The coverings take place due to ignorance. Such coverings are never effective in the presence of the personality of Godhead. Knowing this convincingly is called liberation or seeing the absolute. This means that perfect self-realization is made possible by adoption of godly or spiritual life. Self-realization means becoming indifferent to the needs of the gross and subtle bodies and becoming serious about the activities of the self. The impetus for activities is generated from the self, but such activities become illusory due to ignorance of the real position of the self. By ignorance, self-interest is calculated in terms of the gross and subtle bodies, and therefore a whole set of activities is spoiled life after life. When, however, one meets the self by proper culture, the activities of the self begin. Therefore, a man who is engaged in the activities of the self is called Jivan Mukta, or a liberated person, even in the conditional existence. This perfect stage of self realization is attained not by artificial means, but under the lotus feet of the Lord, who is always transcendental. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that He is present in everyone's heart, and from Him only all knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness take place. When the living being desires to be an enjoyer of material energy, the Lord covers the living being in the mystery of forgetfulness, and thus the living being misinterprets the grass body and subtle mind to be his own self. And by culture of transcendental knowledge, when the living being prays to the Lord for deliverance from the clutches of forgetfulness, the Lord, by His causeless mercy, removes the living being's illusory curtain, and thus he realizes his own self. He then engages himself in the service of the Lord in his eternal constitutional position, becoming liberated from the conditioned soul. All this is executed by the Lord either through his external potency or directly by the internal potency. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So in this section of Bhagavatam, we are coming to the end of third chapter. So various incarnations of the Lord have been described. Now our position is being described. So it's very, very difficult for ordinary people to understand that I am not this body, I am the soul. You know, there is a story. Janak Maharaj is known as Sthita Prajna. Lord Krishna कर्मणो हि संसिद्धिर आस्थितः जनकादयः। लोकसंग्रामे वापि संपश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि, यद्यदि आचरति श्रेष्ठ तद्देवेतरो जना सयत् प्रमाणं कृते लोकस्तदनुवर्तते। Krishna mentions about Janak Maharaj. All the kings of Mithila Nagar, They are known as Janak Maharaj, but they have different names. But every king is known as Janak Maharaj. So Vaidehi, right? Videha Raj. Videha Raj means there is a pastime. Once this Nimi Chakravarti, he wanted to perform a sacrifice. So his Kulguru was Vasishtha Muni. So he went and met Vasishtha Muni and asked him to fix a muhurta. He fixed a muhurtam for performing a sacrifice. But when meanwhile Indra also invited him to perform a sacrifice. So Vasishtha Muni, he thought, if I go to Indra, this is anyway, I am Kulguru, mera chela hai. He is always there. Indra called me means ज़्यादा दक्षिणा मिलेगा. अरे ब्राह्मणा means कितना दक्षिणा मिलेगा. That's how they think, दक्षिणा. In ISKCON also, of course, I never ask any dakshinas. Once one devotee asked, how much you charge for doing Bhagavad Katha? I said, nothing, 0 paisa. He was shocked. There are people who charge, lakhs of rupees. Like that. So anyway, so they talk, kitna dega, Panchatattva. Panchatattva means 500. Vishnu Sahasranama. 1000. If you go to Bengal, I hope no Bengalis here. 101 रुपये देता है वो लोग और 11 रुपये. Last year, I think last to last year. Or Krishnadas Prabhu, they had a program in their village, So he took me. So after that, they gave us prasadam and all. So we did a program and I gave a lecture, and then they're translating in Bangla, like that. So all the ladies, they were coming and giving, 10 rupees, 11 rupees, 50 rupees, 100, maybe 100 rupees, or 200 rupees note is there. Right? 200 rupees, like that. Blank screen, क्या बोलता है? कुछ प्रॉब्लम है क्या? Somebody sent a message. Bhairavi Mataji sent a message. Nothing. Blank screen. संतोष का फ्रेंड है ना? Anyway, so there is one brahmachari came with me. So much change was collected, 10 rupees, 50 rupees, like that. I said, I don't want, all this. I am high flying, 500,000. I collected all the money and gave it to that brahmachari. And he was so happy, Dakshina. So it is coming, Vasishtha Muni, he said, मेरे को ज़्यादा दक्षिणा मिलेगा, इंद्र के पास जाएगा, तो इसलिए he went to Indra. He went to Sargaloka for performing sacrifice. Then Nimi Chakravarti said, all these muhurtas, they don't come, this body is temporary, what is the guarantee that I will be alive? So he consulted another guru, another brahmana, and then he performed the sacrifice. When Vasishtha Muni came back, he realized that, he already the sacrifice has been performed. Right? So Vasishtha Muni cursed, Nimi Chakravarti. right? That your body should fall down, fall off. So before his body fell off, he cursed back Vasishtha Muni, without my fault. It is your fault, out of your greed. You are my spiritual master. I consulted you first. It is your duty to perform my sacrifice. Out of greed for dakshina, higher dakshina, you went to Swargaloka. And then because without waiting for you, I performed. So you cursed me. I cursed you back, that your body also should fall off. So Guru Sishya dono like that. Then Vasishtha Muni again he took birth from Varuna and Mitra, right? But when they offered Nimi Chakravarti the Sharira, he refused, saying that I want to serve the Lord. I don't want to, because the Chakravartis in the line of Mithila Nagar. That is why Videha Raj, Videha Desh means Videha, means no Deha. No Deha means one who is not in bodily concept of life. Right? We are all attached to this body, and then we will do anything to protect this body. Then we commit sinful activities to give so-called sense enjoyment to this body, which is not actually the self. By giving sense enjoyment to the body, the self cannot enjoy. That we don't realize. Right? That's what Prabhupada writes in the third verse purport. We don't enjoy by doing materialistic activities. Unnecessarily we are becoming entangled. So that is why he stays on our eyelids, Nimisha. That is why Animisha bolte hain. Devatas are called Animisha. Means they don't blink, Devatas, but we keep on blinking. So who blames Krishna, Brahmaji? Huh? Anybody knows that verse? Bolo. Very good. Very good. Atati yadbhavan ahanikananam truti yugayate tvam pasyata kutila kuntalam shrimukam chate jada udekshatam pakshmakridrisham. Krishna they are talking, my dear Krishna, when you go to the forest, Atati Yadbhavan, Ahanikanam is forest. When you go there, Truti Yugadate, Tvama Pashada. When we cannot see you, one Truti, aisa lagta hai ek yug. One Truti. Kutila Kuntalam Shrimukam Chate. Kutila Kuntalam means Krishna has a very beautiful hair. And then Kuntalam means, बाल आगे आता है, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Lat. Very beautiful. So you cannot see your beautiful form. So this stupid Brahma, he doesn't know how to create. Because when you come in front of us, we miss you seeing you when we blink our eyes. That is called love, So, anyway, so Nimi Chakravarti stays. So Videha Raja means those who do not have bodily conception of life. So Janaka Maharaj, when he is a Yuvaka, means when he is young student, he was going to Yajnavalkya Muni for worship, for Vidya. So every day, Yajnavalkya Muni, he would wait for that Janaka Maharaj to come, and then he would start giving classes. every day. You know? So one day, so the disciples, they started talking about Guru Maharaj, saying that this Guru, because he thinks that if he pleases the king's son, Yuvraj, he will get more facilities in future. That is why, even though we are sitting and waiting, he is teaching to he is waiting for him to come, and then he starts giving classes. So Yajnavalkya Muni heard this gossip. you know, then one day, there was when they were when they are taking class, when they are sitting in the class and hearing the class, a fire spread out in Mithilanagar. And the fire has spreading, and entered those ashrams also. So then all the disciples, they were very, very disturbed. Then he said, what happened? And there is fire. My gamcha is getting burnt. One disciple complained, I have to, one more said, my dhoti is getting burnt. They are running like that. So everybody ran, to protect their belongings. Right? Janaka Maharaj, he simply sat and was listening to the class. So he is not Janak Maharaj at that time, Janak. So Yajnavalkya Muni, he asked Janak that why you are not going to save Mithilanagar? So he immediately said that if I am not this body, so Mithilanagar doesn't belong to me. Because if this body doesn't belong to me, if this body doesn't belong to me, Mithilanagar also doesn't belong to me. So why should I go to save Mithilanagar? Because my primary job is to save my Atma, save myself. So this Atma is burning in the fire of material existence. So I have to save this Atma, myself, from burning of material existence, rather than Mithilanagar, it will be built again, no problem. So when the Sishyas, when they went to fire, that ashram and all, the fire became extinguished. So they came back. There is no fire also, only Yajnavalkya Muni, in order to teach the disciples the exalted position of Janak Maharaj, he created this illusion of Mithilanagar being on fire, Mithilanagar, ashram being on the fire. He said, see, you all wasted your life. You are staying in the ashram, you have not learnt anything, because still you are thinking, my body, my kaupin, my dhoti, my chadar, my gamcha, my bed. But this boy, he is not at all interested in Mithilanagar, saving Mithilanagar, because he is more interested in saving the Atma. This is called self-realization. Can we be like that? No? His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj used to say, at least for 7 days, he used to do Bhagavad Kathas. Sometimes they would go to Haridwar and Rishikesh and some other places like Vrindavan. So he used to say, at least for 7 days, can you switch off your phone and listen to Bhagavatam? In Bhagavatam, 45 minutes they can't switch off they can't remain, without looking into the phone, right? But Maharaj used to request, give up, your attachment to the wife, children, factories and all. You hear Bhagavatam. He used to request, just hear Bhagavatam. So because of bodily concept of life, we think that business is more important, house is more important, wife and children are more important, like that. So that idea has sat in our hearts and very difficult to give up. So because of this, there is so much suffering. So much suffering. Otherwise, all these things don't matter. Once this, then he finished his education, and then he went back and he became a king, Janak Maharaj. So later on, some of the disciples, they were actually struggling to become Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna se ka bhasha? These verses, I think 18 in number, I think. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parth manogatan, up to last verse. Yesha Brahmi Sthita Partha. These even Gandhiji used to recite every day, it seems, these 18 verses. Sthita Prajna sir, Sthita Prajna. The highest position of Sthita Prajna is Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. So they have, of course, I have not learned, but Shiva Vaishnavas, they gave a very deep commentary on these verses. These first 4 verses. Sthita Prajna Sika Bhasha. Then Prajahati Yada Kaman, Dukkesha Anudvigamana. Then Yata Vinabi Sandesh, Prapta Sthito Pradhan. And then Yatahi, what is that? Yatahi Kurmangani Sarvashaha. That verse, all these 4 verses are very important. So they wanted. So some of the disciples he sent. What is this? Sthita Prajna. So Janak Maharaj, he said, okay, you do one thing. All of you came from village, forest. Our city is very beautiful. All of you go for a city sightseeing. Tomorrow I'll teach you. Right? That was some Mela was there. Mela was there in the city, Mithilanagar. So some places, tattai, dance programs are there. And some places, music programs are going on. Some places they are showing movies. Some places they are doing dramas. And then there are very beautiful gardens. Flowers and all, He told the Cynics, he kept, but he has chosen one disciple out of all of them. He kept a pot of oil, ghee, on his head to the brink, full, right, to the brink. Then he said, then he told Cynics, 2 Cynics he kept, said, even if one drop falls while walking, just whip him so bad. If 5 or 6 drops drop, cut off his head. So they were going, they all went. So after all of them, they came back. All of them, they came back. He asked the experience. All the other disciples, they were saying, so beautiful city, so nice. Previously, Vedic cities used to be so beautiful. All ivory buildings, elephants walking on the streets, Matta Gaja, they were intoxicated. Then beautiful birds, then beautiful dance programs, beautiful shows, music programs, beautiful gardens. They are all praising. He asked the other fellow who was asked to carry that oil pot, how did you enjoy? How will I enjoy? I didn't see anything. My concentration, my drishti was on the pot, because I was so scared that if a oil drops, you told, cut off my head. So if I'm going to die, why should I enjoy all those things? See, this is Prasapajna. If your laksha, if your concentration is on God, Krishna, then you will be afraid of falling from that lakshya, because your concentration is on not even one drop of oil falling down. In the same way, when your lakshya, when your goal is to attain Krishna, then you are afraid to lose even a moment also. Then you will become Sthita Prajna. Now you learned? Then he said, I'm very sorry. I made you pass through this. Like that. This is the level of the education. This is real education. What we study in the schools and colleges, spending 25 lakhs, right? Hard-earned money. It is only for maintaining the body. Shilpa Vidya it is called. Shilpa Vidya. Maintaining the body. Apara Vidya. It is called Para Vidya and Apara Vidya. Para Vidya means knowledge about the soul, God, Krishna consciousness. Apara Vidya means knowledge about the Shilpa Vidya means how to earn money. They teach you how to earn money. Right? That's it. That is not knowledge at all. Like that. So it is not that somebody self-realized means he has to be renounced, or Prabhupada is writing about Jivan Mukta. Right? Jivan Mukta. So what is the quality of a Jivan Mukta? Same story, Janak Maharaj. Today's story class about Janak Maharaj. So once one Brahmana, he came to Janak Maharaj. Then he asked, Maharaj, everybody says you are Sthita Prajna. See, I am not Sthita Prajna or anything. I am the king. No, you got a good name that everybody praises that you are Sthita Prajna. Now, these 18 verses are very important. Yada samharate chayam kurmo anganiva sarvashaha indriyad nindriyastebhyas tasya prajna pratishtita. क्या हुआ? हाँ? Second chapter, 54 I think, 54 to 7. 55 to 72. So, it is, Janak Maharaj, then that Brahmana said, what is the use of, just, Sthita Prajna and all? Why are you enjoying, this Raja, this Bhoga and all that? All this. So you just come with me in the forest. Like that. He said, okay, no problem. Okay. So they were going. So he took him to the forest, on barefoot. So on the way, Janak Maharaj felt thirsty. Then he said, can you get some water? So that Brahmana went searching around, in some lake and all. Then finally he found a lake. Then he took some patra, some leaf, and then made a dona. And then he wanted to bring water. While bringing water, meanwhile, Maharaj Janak became very tired, and then he slept under a tree. When the Brahmana came back, by the time there is a huge army, and then he was, this Janak Maharaj was sleeping on a very nice Dunlop bed. Then there is a Sainik standing with swords ready and all that. Like that. So then Janak Maharaj opened his eyes, then he was shocked, He said, who are all these things? Then he's a Samantraj, That Samantraj, he was going to Mithila Nagar to pay taxes. On the way, he was going to the forest. Then he saw Janak Maharaj. Arey, he's sleeping on without any protection under the tree. So he felt, it is very dangerous. That's why he arranged a security cordon. Then, arey, he's sleeping under a tree. So let him, so he put him on the bed. Then, there were somebody is doing chamara and all. Then, where is that Brahmana? They stopped that Brahmana from coming inside. Then they called him. Come. He said, please forgive me. I don't know anything. I just slept. Then he said, see, I did not want all these things. But, still Krishna has arranged for me. So whatever is due to you, you will get. As long as your prarabdha is there, this body will be there. And then you get whatever you are supposed to get, you will get. So you don't have to. So, but as a king, I need certain designation, certain position, certain bhogas. That is God has created, God has provided me. But I am not interested in all of that. This is called Jivan Mukta. Right? You just enjoy whatever is you are getting. You are not aspiring, but you enjoy. But you are not hankering. You are not hankering for all these things. This is that's what Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter Bhagavad Gita. Shubha Ashubha Phalairiyeva, Moksha se Karma Bandhane, Sannyasa Yoga Yukta Atma, Mumukshuvi Vimukta. So this Vimukti means Mukti and Vimukti. Vimukti means, one Acharya explains that being liberated in this life itself. So in Krishna consciousness, it's not that you will get result in your next life. In this life itself, you can get Vimukta mam upaishyasi, Krishna is saying. You get Vimukti and then you will come to me. Right? Prabhupada gave this example of a coconut. Right? In Dhruva Maharaj Charitra, Dhruva Charitra, coconut ka example. If the coconut, you leave it for drying, after some time, the pulp becomes separated from the shell. If you shake it, you can hear the sound of the getting separated. Aye. In the same way, Prabhupada writes that you keep practicing Krishna consciousness, then slowly, soul becomes separated from subtle body and gross body. You should experience. That is called Jivan Mukta. In this life itself, you are liberated. Right? In this life itself, you are liberated. It is mentioned, if you go to Kanchipuram, there is a very famous temple. It's called Varadaraj temple. What is the significance of Varadaraj temple? If you see the Lord, the hand, it is written in in Tamil, Ma Shuchaha. Right? Ma Shuchaha. Do not worry. Sarvadharman Parityaja, Mamekam Shadavarja, that verse. One Sri Vaishnava Acharya explains that there are 24 steps to reach Varadaraj temple. In Vaikuntha, a person attains the age of 25 and remains at the age of 25 forever in Vaikuntha. So why? Because there are 24 tattvas. Anybody can tell? 24 tattvas. Can you tell? Who can tell? Bhumirapo analo vayu, kammano buddhire vacha, ahankaram itiyam me, bina prakriti astada, right? These Bhumirapo analo vayu, come. These are 5. 5 tanmatras. Shabda, Rupa, Gandha and that 5 tanmatras. Kitna ho gaya? 10. Then 5 jnanendriyas. Eyes, touch, skin, ears, all that. Tongue. 5 jnanendriyas. Kitne ho gaya? 15. Then 5 karmendriyas. Feet, hands, anus and all that. 5 karmendriyas. Kitna ho gaya? 20. Then 4 subtle. Mind, intelligence, false ego, and then contaminated consciousness. Kitna ho gaya? 24. 25th is the soul. And 26th is Vardarajan. Right? So, if you take the 24 steps, and then the 25th one is you. Right? And the 25th one reaches Vardarajan. 26th is Vardarajan, Paramatma. So, that is the meaning of. So, going to the Varadaraj temple, Ma Shuchaha. Then Vimana is there. In that Vimana, they will make you sit in that Vimana. All these Sri Vaishnava temples, they have Vimanas. They are very famous. Yeah. That is, if you go to Tirupati, you must actually take a position where you go to the position where you can take darshan of Vimana. In the same way, Srirangam temple also, Vimana is very famous. Varadaraj temple also, Vimana is very famous. They have some names, I forgot. So, if you keep going to the temple, that is why Lord Vardarajan is telling, don't worry. Don't worry, you can cross over this 24 elements, which is Duratyaya. Right? It is Duratyaya. Very, very difficult to cross over. I will tell you one interesting story. I told this before. You must have forgotten. Once a marriage ceremony is taking place between Parvati and Parmeshwar, Bhagwan, Lord Shiva and Parvati. Then this marriages, it's always, India, marriages means, huge invitations, parties, and everybody dresses up and they want to go. And so everybody, they have reached Himalayas. All the sages, demigods, 33 crore demigods, everybody wanted to attend, marriage ceremony of Parvati and Parmeshwar. Like that. And then there is a huge imbalance has taken place. And because of the, one sage, it's so powerful. So because of, they assembled in one place, it is started, the earth started imbalanced. It's like that, it's coming up, it's one side is going low. So everybody started shaking. Said, what happened? Then they assembled. Said, what to do? Because all the sages, everybody attended in one place, because of their strength, power. We don't understand, all these rascals nowadays, they criticize, rishis and munis. But when there is a pralaya, partial pralaya is taking place, and Satyavrat Maharaj, Meenavatar, that time, there is complete darkness. But the entire thing was, lighted up the effulgence, from the effulgence coming from the body of these 7 sages. Light, it seems ordinary people, they cannot see Narada Muni. When Narada Muni goes, ऐसा लगता है कि कोई सूर्य भगवान जा रहा है. Some light only vague shape only is seen. Otherwise, people have to close their eyes. Then you have to pray to Narada Muni. I want to see you remove, reduce your effulgence. Reduce the effulgence. Then if you reduce the effulgence, then we can see. So such beautiful like that. So they are not ordinary people, because of tapashakti, because of concentrating on the lotus feet of Krishna, they attain that shakti. Then there is a consultation taking place. Then there is because Vishwakarma is a structural engineer. Right? Vishwakarma is a structural engineer. He studied, then he said, if one of the sages goes to southern side, then the balance will take place. Then who will go? Then I said, Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni, they said, please, you go, Agastya. They requested Agastya Muni to leave this place and go to southern side. Agastya Muni became very angry. Just imagine, sometimes in the childhood, your grandmother is there, the whole family is going for movie. They will tell you, you take care of grandmother, you stay back. कितना गुस्सा आता है ना, गाली देता है माँ बाप को. मैंने क्या पाप किया मेरे को. Then they will say, थोड़ा extra chocolate देगा, लड्डू खिलाएगा. They will, right? So Agastya Muni cursed Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma became very angry. He said, everybody asked me the solution, then I gave the solution. So, the place you are going, like it's called, Krurdesh, and then the Bhasha you are going to speak is ghost Bhasha. It will become ghost Bhasha. And then he cursed. So Agastya Muni became very upset. He went and did tapasya to please Narayana. Right? Lord Narayana asked, what do you want? He said, see, this fellow Vishwakarma cursed me like this, like that. So don't worry. The place you will be going, I will be appearing in 108 places. They will be called Divya Desham. And the Bhasha that you are going to speak, it will be Divya Bhasha, Tamil language. Where 24,000 Pashurams will be written. 24,000? 4,000. 4,000 Pashurams will be written. Where they study, where they recite in front of these lords, in front of these, or in all the Divya Deshams. So this Varadaraj temple is also one of the 108 Divya Deshams. But of course, 2 places are, we cannot go, right? What are they? One is Vaikuntha? Vaikuntha. Right? 2 places there are many people, many devotees who go there, who go to all these 106 Divya Deshams. Right? And the most prominent Divya Desham is Srirangam. And then Tirupati, Tirumala, Tirupati. Of course, There is one more place called Melkote. Melkote is not Divyadesham, it is Abhimana Sthala of Sri Ramanujacharya. He lived there for many years, I think 12 years or something like that. He lived there. So, Agastya Muni showed how to become self-realized. Right? How to become self-realized. So when he was going to South India, one very beautiful incident has happened. What is that? Vindhya Parvat, he became envious of Meru Parvat because Surya Dev rotates around, circumambulates around Meru Parvat. So that is why, in order to compete with Meru Parvat, Vindhya Parvat started growing and growing and growing and growing, and then it became taller than Meru Parvat, and then it covered one side, so it became very dark, the other side. Then all the Devatas and Rishis, they prayed to Agastya Muni, please do something about it, save this world, because if the other side, the sun rays do not fall, people will starve, like that. Then Agastya Muni went to Vindhya Parvat. Vindhya Parvat offered obeisances out of respect to the sage, because Agastya Muni is not an ordinary person. So Vindhya Parvat offered obeisances. Agastya Muni said, until I come back, stay here like that. He is still in South India. Still Vindhya Parvat is lying down, offering obeisances. That is number one. Number two, once it so happened that I think there are some demons who are staying underneath the ocean, and then they would come out and trouble the demigods, and then they go back to the ocean, inside the ocean. Inside the ocean. Then what happened? Then they begged Agastya Muni, please save us. Then this Agastya Muni, he took Om Keshvaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha. With 3 sips, he drank the entire ocean. Entire ocean. Then the water became emptied. And then the Kalke, the demons were exposed, and then demigods went and killed them. There are 2 demons, Vatapi and Ilvala. They are very fond of Brahmana's flesh. Right? Ilvala and then Vatapi, they would call Brahmanas for prasadam. For that, Tadinam Bhojanam, Tadinam Bhojanam. Shraddha Bhojan. Shraddha Bhojan. Brahmana Bhojana Priya. हमारा कभी कभी मैं एक डिवोटी मैं बोलता था घी खा मर गए वो this 21 days for him it is a curse for him इतना मंडे सुबह दोपहर को रात को खाते रहने का इधर का इनविटेशन उधर का इनविटेशन इधर का इनविटेशन खा के Telugu में कहावत है Andhra the Brahmanas they were talking about each other said how are you doing Shastri ji Kam Shastri Ram Shastri क्या बोलूं सिर्फ 30 vadas I can eat nowadays I am not able to digest medu vada Medu, in Shraddha Bhojan, the Medu Vada that you make, it should not be Chedu Vada. Whole should not be made. If you go to Govinda restaurant, you eat Medu Vada, they make a whole. But in Tadinam, in Shraddha Bhojan, that whole should not be made. Oh, itna ghee ka. If you make a whole, the ghee will be less, no? Huh? Anyway, so they would call them and then make them nicely. Previously, they used to feed goat mamsa in Shraddha Bhojan. Now it is banned. What are the 5 things? Bolo Shivani? What are the 5 things banned in Kali Yuga? Band karo phone. Huh? What are the 5 things banned in Kali Yuga? Huh? Ashwamedham Gavalambam? Huh? Sanyasam Phala Paitrukam? Devarena Sutotpatti? Kalau Pancha Nishedanam. Right? Ashwamedham Gavalamba. Gomeda Yajna, Ashwamedha Yajna, Sanyasam, and then Phala Paitrukam means offering goat mamsa to Pitrus. And then Devarena Sutotpatti. Previously, if the husband is not able to produce a child, his brother used to produce a child. That's how Vyasamuni produced Dhritarashtra and all that. That is banned in Kali Yuga. But in Nepal, in some places, still they follow this system. Anyway, so they called, then Vatapi, he used to turn Vatapi into goat and then cut him and then serve the flesh to the Brahmana. And then he had some mantra, Ilvala, she knew some mantra. Vatapi, bahar aa jao. Vatapi, bahar aa jao. Vatapi, bahar aa jao. Then he used to chant some mantra that Vatapi, he would pierce the stomach of that Brahmana, come out, and then they would eat this, Brahmana's flesh. Like that they used to, then everything. Then Agastya Muni, everybody went and requested Agastya Muni, do something about these 2 guys. They are very, very powerful. In the same way, they cut Vatapi became, a goat, bakra, and then they cut him, and then they fed him. They fed Agastya Muni, Then Ilvala started calling, Vatapi, bahar aa jao. Vatapi, bahar aa jao. Vatapi, bahar aa jao. Om Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritam Pranapana Samayuktam Pachami Annam Chaturvijam. He rubbed his stomach chanting this mantra, Vatapi jeerna ho gaya. Agastya Muni laughed and said, aur kidhar Vatapi gaya, mera pet mein stool ban gaya. Ilvala tried to kill Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni said Hunkar, he killed him. Right? We should learn, a jnani should have these 3 qualities. Agastya Muni taught. One is from Vindhya Parvat, he taught us how to crush ahankara. How to crush ahankaram? Prabhupada is right, whatever I am speaking is all connected to the purports in the verse. Right? Prabhupada wrote, President is going in the car, and then we identify, President is going. So ahankaram, I am the car. Right? So how do we give up ahankaram? So Acharyas explained, just like ahankaram, our Agastya Muni crushed the pride of ahankaram of Vindhya Parvat. Yeah? In the association of Mahabhagavats, our ahankar is crushed. In the association of Agastya Muni, Vindhya Parvat ahankar was reduced. Like that, in the association of Mahabhagavats, ahankar. Next one is Samundar's, drinking Samundar. Samundar means, Veda Vijnanam. Right? Drinking the Samundar means inculcating the knowledge of Vedas. And going to the south is conquering, southern direction is death, So, going to the southern direction means Agastya Muni conquered the death by imbibing Vedic knowledge. Right? In order for that, killing of Vatapi and Ilvala represents Kama and Krodha. We should give up Kama and Krodha. The 5th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Shaknoti taiva yeshodum prak sharira vimokshanat Kama Krodha bhavad vegam sayukta sasukhi naraha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, before leaving this body, Shaknoti taiva yeshodum prak sharira vimokshanat. Before leaving this body, one should become free from Kama and Krodha. The Vega, Kama Krodha bhavad vegam sayukta susukhi naraha. Such a person will be living very happily in this world. That is called Vimukti. Unless we become free from Kama and Krodha, they don't have class. क्या हुआ? एसी कम करना. इंटरेस्टिंग? हाँ? और सुनना चाहते हैं? हाँ? हाँ? हाँ. So this is how we understand that by learning from the sages of yore, we learn all these things. They are practical stories. Where not that what is this like when Narada Muni was instructing this Dhruva Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj said, Narada Muni told Dhruva Maharaj that I am going to give you a mantra. If you chant perfectly this mantra, you will be able to see people flying in the sky in 7 days. Right? Within 7 days. 32 years हो गए मेरा, कोई अभी तक दिखाई नहीं. अभी कभी कभी सपने में देखते रहे. Right? So actually we should mantra siddhi, we should achieve mantra siddhi. Everybody is everybody appears for CAT exam or everybody appears for JEE exam, but people, those who are successful, that those who have cracked 99% 9 or they got admission in 98%, Then if you get admission in IIM, Ahmedabad or something like that, then you cracked. Otherwise, many people, they appear for CAT exam and many people write the exam. Right? Everybody is chanting Hare Krishna. But we should take shelter of a person who has achieved mantra siddhi. Then he will help us achieve perfection. Right? You understand? That's, I'm not saying that. Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the 7th chapter. One who is an ecstatic chanter, right? One who is an ecstatic chanter, he can accept disciples. Right? He can accept disciples. Kacha, we are all kacha mango. We should take shelter of a pakka mango. Right? Then we can also become pakka mango. Right? Otherwise, simply chanting, sleeping in between, and then walking. Other day one devotee was giving a class. He said, while chanting, if you are walking, something is wrong. You should sit and chant, he was telling. Right? So if you can sit and chant and then close your eyes, then only you will be able to hear the holy name. Then only you will be able to remember Krishna's pastimes. Then only you will be able to see the form of the Lord. Right? But if you sleep while chanting, how will you realize? Right? So this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra should help us, realize that I am not this body. So what is the symptom that to know that I am not this body, right? Because you are no longer bothered about bodily comforts. You are no longer bothered about sense gratification. Then, like Prabhupada says, you are always engaged in Krishna's service, 24 hours. Like Taila Dharavat. Right? Many times I say this, right? You can practice sometimes. You can now practice also. Right? How many, just 12 seconds, if you can concentrate on Krishna's lotus feet. That means, your Krishna prema is started, sprouting in your heart. Or you can do Lila Smarana. Right? Remember the Krishna's pastimes. Or Prabhupada says, remember the service to Krishna. You can do service to Krishna in your mind. You know that pastime, no? You know the story? How many of you know the story? Pratishthanapura. Huh? There is one Brahmana, he wanted to serve the Lord, but he didn't have any means to serve the Lord. So he was going to the temple, he has this great desire to serve the Lord very opulently. Then he heard from one Brahmana, one speaker, Bhagavata speaker, that you can serve the Lord mentally also. Then he used to take bath in Godavari and sit on the bank of Godavari and do pranayama, asanas, and then sit and meditate. So in his mind, he was thinking that he built a very gorgeous temple for Radha and Lakshmi and Narayana. Then every day he is bringing in a golden kalash. You tell, or Shankar, arrange prasadam here. Huh? In golden kalash, Sahasra Tirtha Jal. He used to bring water from Ganga, Yamuna, Kaveri, Saraswati, everywhere, like that. And then he used to bathe the Lord with golden kalash, every day with those holy waters. Then he would offer, he already constructed a beautiful temple, beautiful altar. Then he used to dress the Lord very opulently with very nice, silk dresses. Then he used to dress the Lord very beautiful diamond necklaces, pearl necklaces, and then golden ornaments from toe to the head, everything beautifully. And then he would offer Chappan Bhog every day. All mentally. Sit and mentally offer. So Prabhupada writes, for many years he is doing that. Many years. Then one day, he offered sweet rice to the Lord mentally. Usually, sweet rice should be offered very cold. Then he felt that he offered it was left hot. This way. So, in meditation only, he dipped his finger in the sweet rice. And his finger got burnt. Then he got up.
Mukund Datta or Mukund Datta.
And there in Vaikuntha, Narayana is smiling. Yeah, Narayana is smiling. So Lakshmi Devi asked, what happened? Why are you smiling? He said, I will tell you. Then he sent his Vishnu Dutas, go and bring this Brahmana. Then he took those Brahmana, and then he narrated the entire story of this, how this Brahmana was meditating and all that. So Prabhupada says, if you cannot actually physically offer your services, you can actually mentally offer the services. Then you don't have to feel because Krishna is unlimited. You don't have to feel deprived. Arey, I am not able to do service. Anybody can do any service if you are provided you are guided properly. Right? Because mind is very important thing in our life. Mind should be focused. Mind should be controlled. How do we control? Smarana means sometimes thinking about Krishna's pastimes, thinking about Krishna, that is called smarana. Right? So dharana means you sit forcibly to control your mind and concentrate on Krishna and his pastimes. That is called dharana. Right? Dhyana means you are absorbed without any interruption. Right? Samadhi is Dhruvanusmriti, means constant remembrance of Krishna. Dhruvanusmriti, Samadhi. So devotees, sometimes they are in Samadhi, always remember, constantly. So we should, क्या होगा? So you want to try? So Taila Dharavat means, if you pour the oil, it falls, it drips, without break. That is called, in Shastras, it is called Taila Dharavat. Your remembrance of Krishna should be like that. Taila Dharavat, continuous. But when we try to remember Krishna now, for first second, you remember Krishna. Second, you will remember your house. Third second, you will remember your spouse. Fourth second, again Krishna. Like that it goes on. It goes on. And then again, fifth second, your house, some business. Like that. Then eighth second again, Krishna. Like that, that interruption is there. It is not Taila Dharavat. But if you can, for 12 seconds continuously, without any other thought, if you can think about Krishna, that means your love is started sprouting. Love for Krishna. Right? That is the meaning of one Srivashnava Apalacharya. He explains the pastime, tattva behind Damodar Leela. What are all those ropes? Ropes are remembrance of Krishna. So by combining all those ropes we can bind Krishna. That rope, represents, that Mother Yashoda used those ropes, na? That rope represents remembrance of Krishna. So, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if you read Bhagavad Gita again and again, Krishna is always talking about remembering me. Right? Antakalecha Mam Anusmara. Right? Mantakalecha Mam Anusmara. He's saying, remember me at the time of death. He didn't say, hear about me, or he didn't say, chant about me. What did he say? Remember me. What is the final instruction of Bhagavad Gita? Manmana. Manmana means always think of me. Right? Ananyas chintayantamam yejana paripasate. Then ananya cheta satatam yomam smarati nityasaha. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmaridyacha. Why did Krishna say that, Why is he saying, remember me? Because Shravanam and Kirtanam, your ears and the tongue have to work. Sometimes at the time of death, they may not work. But your mind will never fail. Right? Your mind will never fail. Even at the end of the life, you can remember Krishna. Right? So that is why Krishna is stressing on this importance of remembering Krishna. Remember me, think of me, think of me. Why? Because, आवाज मत करो. Because a caterpillar, by constantly remembering butterfly, it will become butterfly. Right? In the same way, a tortoise makes meditates on the children, on the eggs, and that makes a child. Right? Tortoise only, no? Tortoise. Like that, Prabhupada writes that by constantly thinking about Krishna, we can become like Krishna. Right? Now we are thinking about, because sometimes we may not hear, our ears may not work, our tongue may not work. Sometimes we are silent, we don't hear, but our mind works. So we should actually cultivate this habit of remembering Krishna. Okay? Many times I narrated many pastimes of Krishna. Right? For example, so many childhood pastimes I have narrated, or I described the beauty of Krishna. You can put a picture of Radha Rasbihari Lotus feet. Today
Today's darshan.
Lotus feet will be there, na? Anyway, any Radha Rasbihari picture or how many of you have taken darshan? That is why I always say, when you come to temple to take darshan, I should be like, Bolo Omkar? Madhurikshana, honeybee, bumblebee. Just like bumblebee drinks the nectar, our eyes should become bumblebees, and we should drink the nectar from the lotus face and lotus feet of Krishna. Drink the beauty of Krishna. Our eyes should be constant, focus very deeply on the deity form of the Lord. Right? So this Prabhupada explains in 7th canto, 5th chapter. Also in 3rd canto, 28th chapter. And then 4th canto, 8th chapter. Right? How Dhruv Maharaj achieved perfection. Prabhupada advises, to meditate on the deity form of the Lord. So whenever we are not yogis, we don't sit on the bank of Yamuna or bank of Ganga and sit, like that. Our Krishna consciousness, it's like 24-hour. It is like a flow of Ganga. Anywhere you sit, you practice this remembrance of Krishna. Sit, because you are always remembering your children. Right? Chant Hare Krishna, your life will become sublime. If you don't chant nicely, then your life will become sublime हो जाएगा, चुनना लग जाएगा. Right? Huh? So you spend so much time and energy on your children, right? For a प्राण बसता है, ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, बट माता पिता का प्राण बसता है चिल्ड्रन में. ना चिल्ड्रन का नहीं बसता है ना प्रथा? इन जनरल मोस्टली बच्चे बड़े होके चूना लगाते हैं. राइट? मोस्टली nowadays ऐसे ही छोड़ देते हैं बुढ़ापे में. But Prabhupada said, consider Krishna as your son. He will never cheat you. He will never give you up. Consider Krishna as your boyfriend. He will never cheat you. Okay? Try 12 seconds. Close your eyes.
Take darshan properly then.
Yeah. इसको जीरो कैसा करना है? तुमको जानते हैं? हाँ? नो, एक मिनट. जीरो आया? No. Okay, start. 12 seconds. Okay. Okay? How many you could? Tailadarvat. Huh? Anybody? Giridhar Madhav?
Your face was coming.
Huh? क्या? तैलदारवत है?
I was able to see your face.
Anybody in Jala?
First Krishna, Lord Krishna, then you.
Huh? 12 seconds. Shivangi? Not even one thought should come. No other thought should come. 12 into 12? Huh? 144 second. 144 by 12 kitna?
28.8 minutes.
Huh? Nah, nah. Huh? How many? 144. How many minutes?
28.8.
Nah, nah.
144 seconds, 2 minutes. Divided by
2.4 minutes. If you can concentrate 2.4 minutes, it is called dhyana. Right? And if you can concentrate for 28.8 minutes, it is called samadhi. That means complete love. Just absorbed in thinking about Krishna. Huh? So Prahlad Maharaj, every fraction of a second, he would remember Krishna. Then Prabhupada said, nobody can achieve that level of remembrance of Prahlad. So, but practice 12 seconds, you know. If you early in the morning, if you can practice, yeah, you can actually, you know, like that.
12 seconds is prema.
Prema started,
Then 2.4 minutes.
increased,
Dhyana.
dhyana, maturing,
Next.
samadhi, 28 minutes. So now Prabhupada writes this in Bhakti-rasam Sindhu, you know, Nama Rupa Gunalila. First is Nama, to understand that Nama is different, non-different from Krishna, that is Nama. Then Rupa, you know, you don't have to imagine the form of Krishna, the form of the Lord, Archavatar. You know, in temple, yeah, we should think about that form of the Lord. Ishtadeva. Right? Ishtadeva. And okay, so practice, you know, little bit you practice, you know, at least every day think of one pastime of Krishna every day. So many pastimes are there. Every day sit and remember Krishna's pastimes. You know, Prabhupada writes about, you know, remembering Dhruva Maharaj's pastime, you know, Prahlad Maharaj's pastime, Ambarish Maharaj's pastime. You think all these pastimes, you know, then you can, Prabhupada said, if you think about them, one day you will become like them. So, sometime at least give it to Krishna. Quality time. Otherwise, all the time, you are thinking about material things and sense gratification and so many aspirations and all that. Okay? Next Sunday, I don't know, we should have a lecture or? Shobhayatra is there. Sunday. Huh? Ram. Yeah, but we don't have, we have to go for Shobhayatra, na? Shobhayatra what time? Evening? Evening? Huh? 5 to 7 right? Shobhayatra on the beach. Evening, right? What to do? After that class, if the hall is, maybe we can have the class in Vrindavan hall. Find out where they will serve prasad and all. Huh? If any hall is available. We'll inform you. Huh? After Shobhayatra we can have class. Ram Katha we can have. We'll find out if any hall is available. Huh? कीर्तन करेंगे? भूख लगी है? हाँ?